Good morning, Paradise Valley. Welcome to December Coffee with a Cop. It's hard to believe Christmas and holiday season's right around the corner. I appreciate you getting up early this morning and having a cup of coffee with me. Today we have a return presenter. Joan Campbell has presented for us on several occasions when we were doing in person, and she's such a great speaker that we invited her back for this month. This month we're going to talk about scams and intimidation to steal money. Joan's going to talk to us about what's going on in the industry right now, the scamming and fear industry. So intimidation, they obviously scammers use our money to get personal, or our information to get personal information and steal money. Pretending to be healthcare, auto warranty, government officials, family members. According to the Federal Trade Commission, consumers report losing over 3.3 billion in fraud in 2020, which is up from 1.8 billion in 2019. So a lot more fraud and theft by fraud going on. Joan Campbell is from the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, and she's going to identify some theft and fraud protection tips for you. Thanks for being here, Joan. We appreciate having you back, and you can start your presentation when you're ready.
Oh, well, thank you very much. I really appreciate you having me here because I think law enforcement does an excellent job. You'd be surprised at how many arrests are made on the federal level, but they can't do it all. So education is so important. I really appreciate the opportunity. This presentation has slides that have a lot of words on them, which is not normally what we do with PowerPoint. We keep it simple. But what I've discovered using Zoom is a lot of people want to take a picture of the screen with the information. And if I just say it, they might lose it. So I apologize, but do know that there's a lot of details in some of these slides. I am with the county attorney's office. I've been here I think I'm going my 8th year. Prior to that, I was a police officer, so I'm very passionate about education. This is our county attorney, Alistair Dell. We are a huge agency. If you can imagine Maricopa County, just the size of it, from Gila Bend to Fountain Hills to Wickenburg to Apache Junction. We have a lot of cases submitted to our office. And towards the subject of safety, when we get requests for doing classes on internet safety or identity theft, all of these terms are part of the fraud that we'll hear. Someone might say, well, I was a victim of identity theft or a scam, but I want to know more about internet safety and how does cybersecurity work. Elder fraud is a big part of all the scams. There's financial crimes, there's consumer fraud, and then there's online safety for children, and that includes gaming. So this is a big umbrella. I'm going to keep this short because otherwise you will have me here till noon and you'll be wanting lunch, but I want to hit some of the main things that are going on right now. Let's talk about the way they get hold of us. All different ways they can call us, but what's really nice now is that phone carriers are providing ways to block the calls or send spam suspected. People are getting wise to these scam calls, not all the time, but we're getting better at that. So the criminals have transitioned to text messaging. And I'm sure you've all gotten the text that your package is going to be delivered or just an anonymous link on a text. We're going to talk some more about that a little bit. Emails. The email scams that I hear from victims when I'm out in the field primarily are the fake phishing emails that will say, this is Netflix. We need you to re-enter, click this link and enter your name and your password. There's a problem with your account. It could be from a bank. It looks real. PayPal scams seem to be real popular right now, where you get an email saying there's a fraudulent charge on your PayPal, enter your information. All those are scams. Please don't click on any links. There are fake websites out there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Dating apps, people that meet on dating websites get scammed. Then there's regular mail. And the most common fraud that I hear about in regular mail are the sweepstakes, where you send in money and then you're entered in a sweepstake. I'm going to give you a successful story here in a second. And then there's in-person scams. You could be in a Costco parking lot and somebody says, oh, okay, I can fix the dent in your car or fix your tire, and it's a scam. But I want to give you a little bit of a success story regarding mail fraud. In October, the federal government shut down a psychic mail fraud scheme. They were residents of France. And what they did was they would charge people $40 or $50. And if they would pay the fee, they would get good fortune. And they might win a lottery and an inheritance. So they were having people pay them for this chance of winning money. And they stole $1.4 million and had 34,000 payments. And they shut that down. And what's important about filing reports with the Federal Trade Commission is if they get this money back, they'll get it back to the victims. And then in November, or last month, a day ago, there was 3 people from New York, Florida, and Canada. They were sending out prize notifications that people won. They needed to pay a fee, but it was a small amount, like $20 to $40 per victim. But in the years they did it, they collected 10.8 million, and they were targeting seniors. So those are 2 successful, real recent prosecutions. So no, it's good to file a report, and so when they do make an arrest, they can get you your money back. Let's talk about how they ask for money. And Officer McGee, I wanted to talk to you about this maybe later, because this is something that's kind of new and I don't understand it. I'm hoping that maybe you can help me navigate this. In the past, bad guys ask for money to be wired. They still do. Go to Western Union. But now I've even talked to people that have had this happen. They go into a Western Union to send money. And if the clerk or the employee feels like it's a scam, they will tell you, we're not going to let you do this wire transfer because you're going to get scammed. So they're getting wise to it. So then they transition to gift cards. And what they do with those is they'll say, you owe money. The jury duty scam is back. I saw it in the news yesterday. It's very cyclical. And it just hit again where they call and say, this is, Officer Smith with the sheriff's office, you missed jury duty and now you owe us $400. Pay us with a gift card. They want you to read the numbers off the back of the gift card, and then they've got your money and you can't really get it back. Cash is picked up. We know a lady that works for the U.S. Postal Service inspectors, and they'll get a call from a post office branch or maybe a UPS store where somebody will go in and try to put $10,000 in an envelope and mail it. Once they mail, of course, it's gone. But I can see where that would be a good tool for a bad guy, because if you go into your bank and you ask for $10,000 in cash, they're not going to ask you why. But if you go into a Fry's grocery store and ask for $2,000 in gift cards, the store will probably ask you why, so that they know that you're not going to be a victim of fraud. So they have transitioned to cash. And then the new one is phone apps like Venmo and Zelle. If you send money through a phone app, you're not going to get it back. So there's 4 different ways here that they're trying to get your money. And just know that with cash, maybe you can put a stop on a delivery in time, maybe a gift card to give you money back. But this is the new one. This is what I'll talk to Officer McGee about. This just came out less than a month ago. A lot of words on the screen if you want to take a picture. But the part in yellow, this is interesting. Just this month, state police in Pennsylvania warned of a Bitcoin scam where people would receive messages about unauthorized charges on their PayPal, asked for the information, and told to go buy Bitcoin at an ATM. And I'm like, what do you mean a Bitcoin ATM? So I did some research, and we are putting in Phoenix, there's at a gas station in Cave Creek, a smoke shop, a liquor store, a gas station, and in Walmart, they're putting in ATMs that you can send Bitcoin. I don't understand this because I'm not big on cryptocurrency, or Bitcoin. But this is something new. And what scares me about this is that it says at the bottom, they give them a QR code and then they tell them to use it. And then they can put their money in and then it's gone. So this is, probably something we're going to be looking at in the next year or so. But I wanted to get it out there because I had no idea this was going on. Let's talk a little bit about the reason why we're vulnerable during the holidays. I don't want to be bringing up bad stuff during the holidays, but we want you to be careful. So during that season, they might take advantage of us because they want our gifts or our personal information, just like the chief was saying, that's what they want. And because of supply chain issues and high cost, we might be a little more vulnerable because there's something we really wanted to get. So this is another slide with a lot of narrative. I'll kind of walk you through it, but it's the gift that never arrives. We saw this a lot during COVID when people were trying to buy N95 mask or safety, gel. They would go online and buy it and it would never arrive because it was fake. So let's say you search online, you find the perfect gift and the right price, you put it in your cart, you click buy after you put your credit card in and nothing happens. You don't get an email, you don't get a tracking number, package never arrives, and then you try to find a company and their website is gone. So in order not to fall for this scam, stick with a reputable retailer, make sure that you have the right website, it hasn't been a fake one. Check and see if there's a customer service phone number or an address for the company, and then make sure that the website has HTTPS and the lock icon in the corner, that it's a legitimate website. But if you do fall victim to this, here's some suggestions. Document your unsuccessful attempts to contact the seller. Because if you're going to reach out to your credit card company to dispute it, if you use your credit card, they're going to want this information. Maybe take screenshots of the problems or any information you have from that site. Ask the credit card company to reverse the charges and consider asking for a new credit card if you gave it to a scammer so they don't use it. So that's a lot, but this has been on the news a lot lately about fake websites. I don't know how they do it, but I've heard they can just basically see someone's website, copy it, and make it their own. I've heard that too with charity websites where they steal it. All right, payment with a gift card. This is, the saying is, it'll be in a little video, gift cards are not for paying bills. If you're on an auction website like eBay, I think there's a bunch of them, Priceline, Name Your Price or something like that, there's auction ones. Make sure that you always use your credit card if you dispute it. If credit, nobody should ever ask you to pay with a gift card. If I went to the grocery store and I didn't have my money with me and I called for help, I wouldn't ask someone to give me a gift card. I'd ask them to bring me a credit card or cash. So gift cards aren't for bills. And if you were to fall for this, let's say, because it's so easy, you get a call, they say you can pay your bill by buying a Google Play card. If you've been scammed, call the gift card company right away. If you Google Apple gift cards scam, it will take you straight to a page where it gives you their customer service phone number. First thing. So just Google scam gift card and what the name of the company is, and you can get their number to call them. And remember, gift cards are for gifts. I'm going to play a little video the FTC did. I think they did a really good job on this.
Let's say someone calls and says he's from the IRS. He says you owe taxes and need to pay right away by getting a gift card at the store. Should you do it? No. It's a scam. Government agencies will never make you pay with a gift card. Now let's say the caller claims to be from a tech support company. He says he needs to fix a problem with your computer after you pay him with a gift card. Should you? No. That's a scam too. Real tech support companies don't work like that or make you pay with a gift card. What if you get a call from someone who says she's a relative or friend and needs money right now? She begs you to go buy her a gift card. Should you do it? No. That's also a scam. Gift cards wouldn't help real family members or friends in a real emergency. Gift cards are for gifts, not for payments. Anyone who tells you to pay with a gift card is a scammer. And once you've shared the gift card number and PIN, your money is probably gone. So what do? If you have paid with a gift card, contact the company that issued the card right away, and then tell the FTC. Reporting to the company and the FTC helps us fight these scams. Go to ftc.gov/giftcards to learn more about how to protect yourself and others.
I love that video because gift cards are for gifts. I wish every kiosk that had gift cards had that sign up. All right, let's transition to these fake text messages we mentioned earlier. They were getting a lot of them. There's something wrong with your PayPal account. There's an overcharge. If you get one for a delivery, like I don't order on Amazon, I just don't have an account, but I get text messages to click a link to track my package, which of course I know is fake, but they want to put malware on your device. So just make sure that you are not clicking on any links on your text messages. This is what it might look like. Hello, James, your FedEx package and tracking code is waiting for you to set delivery preferences or see where it's at. Just be real careful. If you do click on a link and you provided your login credentials that say that you clicked on it and you did put in your name and your password, make sure that you change that right away so that they don't have access. Pick a unique, hard to crack password. And this is interesting. This has changed a little bit. We've always said every account needs its own password, which is complicated. Password managers are a great way to keep track of all of them. But when you do pick a password, they're saying now to use a phrase that'll be easy to remember versus a lot of different characters. So if you have a favorite song, like the Barney song, and you would, whatever your favorite song might be, you can use a long phrase as your password, which is interesting thought. If you gave out your PIN or if you had a PIN on an account, change it too. Run a security scan on your devices and then report the scam to the FBI Internet Crime Complaint Center. And I'll give you that website in just a few minutes. It's at the end. It's really important that we report. I don't want anyone to feel bad about being a victim of one of these crimes because the scammers are really smart. They have a lot of skills. This is their job. They use fear. Sometimes they use kindness, like they're your best friend. They're going to help you out. You've won something. But make sure you file a report because just like with these other cases, it takes years for the government to get bank records, phone records, investigate these groups, track the money. And if you fell victim to a grandparent scam 2 years ago and they shut it down and they seize that money, you might get some of it back. So, don't give up hope on those. This, Officer McGee, I don't know if you've been talking or heard much about this, but I'm hearing about this from the public more and more. So it's not going away. This is a scam where you get a phone call and it will be, the words will be, this is Border Patrol Agent Gonzalez. I work at the Yuma Border Patrol office. We just pulled over a vehicle. We arrested a bunch of suspects. We found fentanyl in the car, meth, a bunch of cash, some weapons. And we want to let you know that that vehicle was rented in your name. They have used your credit card to rent that rental vehicle. Or we found your personal information in the car. And they might go two ways. They might be aggressive, like, you're in trouble, you're part of this drug scheme, we're going to come arrest you. Or it could be, listen, we're the Border Patrol, we're here to help you. These criminals, these cartels obviously have your information and they have access to your bank account. We need to reset your information. So what we're going to do is move your money out of your accounts into a new account to make sure it's secure. And they're stealing your money. They use fear. They could use, like I said before, helpful. But know that this seems to be picking up. You're somehow in trouble because we have this car when you're involved. And the caller ID might show DEA. It might have a name on it. So if you get this call, let people know. This and the fake kidnapping seem to be picking up. They say that they have a relative and you need to pay right away. I talked to a couple people that have been the victim of this. Very scary. They know what to say to make people want to send them money. With that, they want them to wire it. If you are interested in hearing more, if you go to YouTube and type in DEA recorded scam PSA, you can hear DEA agents. They have a couple talking to the scammers. And it's really interesting to listen to the audio of these calls because you can hear how aggressive the criminals are, even with the DEA. You know, they're persistent. They won't give up. It's interesting to listen to. Now, here are the resources. The Federal Trade Commission is a wonderful website. I love them. I know Officer McGee follows them too. They have preventive information, what to do if you are a victim, trending scams that come out, great website. And you can file a report. So that's a really good resource. The Fraud Watch program, if AARP, they do a wonderful job of sending out trending scams. The Better Business Bureau, I use a lot of their information in my presentations because they put out helpful information. The AG's office with Arizona, they have on their website, they give you the tips on how to put scam calls, like what steps you need to take on your devices to put those, to get them off, like how to do that, to delay them. But they have a good website on scams. And then I was telling you, the FBI Criminal Complaint Center, that's the ic3.gov. If you've been the victim of internet crime, make a report with them. And then here's my favorite thing the government has done. They've made a national elder fraud hotline for people that are over 60 that are the victim of a crime. This is Monday through Friday, can have an 8 to 5 service, not on weekends, through the Department of Justice. And that's their website. They will walk people through what to do if they become a victim. So they specifically are making it easier for people to get help after they've been victimized, which is great. So after all of that, during news, but have a great Christmas. I don't want to leave it on a bad note, but just we want you to be safe this year. Covered a lot of information, short period of time. Hopefully some of that was helpful. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen and then turn it over to you.
Well, thank you so much, Joan. We appreciate the information. I have a couple of council members and the mayor that I'd just like to introduce, and maybe they have a question or a comment. First, Mayor Jerry Beion Wilner, welcome this morning.
Thank you, Chief, and thanks to presenter for a great and informative presentation. It's always good to get reminders on these issues. It's unfortunately rampant activity. This has been going on for a long time, but the criminals are getting better at it. It even happens within the town. I don't think anyone would be surprised to hear that, but people get emails supposedly from a council member or from me as the mayor saying, I need a bunch of gift cards. So this is not unusual activity, and it's great to stay on our toes, and it's a great reminder, and thank you for reminding us not to be embarrassed if people do fall for these, because it can happen to anyone. So thanks for brushing us up on best practices, and we appreciate the cooperation with the town and all the resources that are available to help. And my takeaway, I guess, was if in doubt, don't do anything. So I'll keep sticking with that. And thank you again for taking your time this morning to help educate us and to work with our excellent police department. Thank you very much, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Mayor. I think that's great advice. You know, if you're unsure, and just doing nothing is better than turning over a bunch of money. So I think that's a good opportunity for success. Also see out there, Council Member Julie Pace, welcome.
Good morning. How are you all? Everybody, happy holidays. Sorry, happy holidays. Thank you very much for this great presentation. I echo everyone's comments. It's important to share this video with as many of your relatives and friends and family. Officer McGee does a great job, and the chief, in circulating this by link. It is that time of the year, so these were great points. The other ones, I always remind people, RoboKiller is a good program to put on your cell phone to start blocking those spam calls. And it's very easy, at least on the iPhone platform, to block callers as soon as you see report spam. And if you have a good contact list in there and you start seeing phone numbers come to you that don't belong, or text messages, you just go to information and keep going through it to block them, because they start sending it to many, many other scammers out there to do that, and scammers and spammers this morning. Also, don't forget on your programs to use two-step verification. So if you're using Amazon, I always suggest Smile Amazon, because you can pick your charity to get a benefit from that. But use two-step verification. So they send a code to your phone so that others can't just, it helps. It's another layer of security protection. So try to look at your programs. And the last tip I would give is please don't leave your social media open. If you leave Facebook open and all these programs all the time, it is an easier way for people to hack in or monitor your system. So anyway, protect everybody, have a great holiday season and great tips. And this is a great program as always. So thank you, Chief, and thanks to everyone.
Thank you. And finally this morning, good morning, Councilmember Anna Thomason. Thanks for being with us.
Good morning, Chief. Always a pleasure. And Joan, I'd like to give you an extra Paradise Valley warm welcome. I think when you come to 5 Coffee with the Cops, you get an honorary membership in joining Paradise Valley. So we look forward to welcoming you to our town in a formal way. Always great to have you. And what my takeaway from this was the FTC website. It sounds like it's a great resource. So that's my takeaway. And Chief, I'm thinking maybe this resource list could be a great addition to the town manager's weekly newsletter. So it could be available to a broader range of our residents. So thank you again. Thanks for keeping us vigilant. Have a great holiday.
What a great idea. Thank you so much. Great minds think alike. I had screenshotted that and my plan was to drop it in the town manager's weekly update. So you'll see that again, hopefully. Finally, I have Derek Helsher, my sergeant, who is the supervisor in investigations, and he has a phishing story to share. So I want to introduce Derek. Thanks for being with us this morning, Derek.
Oh, you're welcome, Chief. Good morning to everyone out there. So unfortunately, outside of property crimes in Paradise Valley, identity theft and crimes such as this, where we're being scammed and whatnot, this is probably our most common crime that we're plagued with, unfortunately. So, and also the bad news about that is too, most of these people are nowhere near Paradise Valley. So the best way to combat this is the prevention side of it, because unfortunately, by the time it gets to me, there's little we can do. To give you a little idea, the federal government, when they investigate these things, they usually have a loss threshold of about $500,000 to $1 million before they'll even look at it. And they have much more resources than we do. So that tells you that if it's up to us to kind of try to get these guys, in custody, it's tough to do just because of resources. We don't have the manpower or the planes to get to where we need to go. Most of the time, these people are from out of the country, at least out of state. But there is one particular story I'll let you know about. So one of these scams, and I've been subject to email phishing, and I've been a victim of this myself. So again, yes, don't feel stupid. It happens to everyone, including the police. But there was a resort that we have in town, and one of their executives received an email one day to forward some of their funds to a different account or something like that. And they thought that the email came from the CEO. Well, they got a subsequent email to forward more money. So they did. And by the third time they came back to the well, he thought maybe something was strange. He keeps getting emails to forward these substantial amounts of money. So he called the CEO up and he says, no, that's not me sending you these emails. So by the time they were able to figure it out, they have lost several hundreds of thousands of dollars by that point. Unfortunately, now the federal government did adopt that case. There had never been a conclusion to that at all. I don't know if they were able to tie that to any, but I did have another one which is similar. It was a young couple, lived in town. He was buying a home, and he bought about $75,000 up in escrow, and he received an email from what he thought was his agent or escrow manager. And so he provided him with the account information he was supposed to wire his escrow money to. Well, he wires the $75,000, and then he finds out later that they never received the money. Well, it was because that was not the person emailing him. And a lot of times what will happen is these scammers, they will hack into other people's email, and then they will copy or mimic their email almost to a T. Sometimes they'll be just one character off, or sometimes they'll be exactly the same, but in the background, in all the zeros and ones, that's where the changes are at. So that individual, he was out $75,000. The FBI did take that case as well and help us out with that. That one led to a pretty good investigation they were already doing out of one of the California offices. And they ended up indicting 20 some Nigerian nationals. Now, what happens to these people after that? They don't have a lot of cooperation with the Nigerian government. So unfortunately, it's kind of a mockery over there. Now, if these people ever end up trying to come to the United States, they'll arrest them, obviously, as soon as they enter the country. But right now, there's nothing to hold these people accountable. So it's just kind of they get to do this stuff at will. So that's why it's very important to try to do the preventative means. If something doesn't seem right, you can always ask somebody, call a relative, call the police department and ask us. We'd be totally fine with providing advice or whatnot. But that's the best way to combat these things, because the prosecution and the criminal justice side of it, it's hard.
Thanks, Sergeant Helsher. Appreciate the additional information. Joan, the next time you come back, and the next time we're in person and you come back, we're going to give you your honorary Coffee with a Cop in Paradise Valley mug, so we can fill that for you. We are very appreciate having you here continually, even though it's remote. So looking forward to getting back in person with you. Community Resource Officer McGee, anything from you to close us up?
Last thing I have is just mark your calendar for our next Coffee with a Cop. It will be virtual again. The next topic is going to be, we have a partner that will be discussing investigation protocols for child abuse cases that we have in Maricopa County. It's going to be pretty interesting. So we hope to see you guys there. Other than that, have a wonderful holiday season, and we look forward to seeing everybody in person someday soon.
Make sure you're doing your 9 o'clock walks. Do your lock your car, take your computer, your iPhone out of your car, and make sure your alarm is set to stay. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Have a great holiday season.